I don't know. The Falcons are in control in the NFC South, and the Seahawks have a lot of questions. I will say the Seahawks fan base on last Thursday night went through one of the toughest experiences you can have as a fan when you're witnessing your quarterback have a rough game and your defense can't stop a nosebleed on the ground. The 49ers are running for about 7 yards a carry, and Geno Smith is struggling on the offensive side of the ball. That seemed like the ugliest game the Seahawks are going to play this season. I have to think they'll get it right. I don't think that they need to make a change off of Geno Smith. I still like Geno Smith. I think they just need to calibrate this offense under Ryan Grubb. And yeah, in this game, I still got to favor the Falcons just because Kirk Cousins, what he's shown you he can do behind that Atlanta Falcons offensive line, torn Achilles be damned. This guy is back and at his best. So I'll go with the Falcons to win this game, but I still think that the Seahawks are a good team that just needs to iron out some coaching issues and maybe some personnel issues as well. What do you guys think?
And I think Pat, with the questions, that are on the defensive side of the ball for Seattle, and Falcons have been playing a little bit better on defense, still about middle of the road. But I mean, we've seen Kirk Cousins flinging the ball. The over under is set at 51. That's a 3-point spread. I do kind of lean the over in terms of how these teams have won and can manufacture winning this game. I think if the Seahawks want to get, if I love this. I've loved the emergence of Kenneth Walker as just a premier back in that backfield. Just he's been looking fantastic. Zach Charbonnet as well. I mean, they've been able to move the ball on the ground. So I think with how Kirk is playing and the fact that they both teams have dynamic backs coming out of the backfield and pass catchers that are being that well. Geno, there's some accuracy issues, but at least for Atlanta, pass catchers that are being elevated by the quarterback play that they're getting, I think 51 is a number within reach for this game.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I gotta, sorry, Christian.
No,
I
you're
gotta
good. You're
give
good.
Atlanta a little bit of props for what they were able to show on Sunday. It doesn't feel like they were for the first couple of weeks they were able to unlock Bijan Robinson and this running attack. And I think all it took for the doctor to order was the Carolina Panthers defense because they were able to run the football finally. Um, I think it was 192 rushing yards this week. Somebody might have to stat check me on that, but they were finally able to run the football, and I think that's only going to open up this offense even more. Um, Carolina was in that game for about three quarters, I would say, and then kind of the wheels fell off. So it's interesting to see um, how their defense kind of responds. I feel like Carolina put up a little bit more of a fight than the score would indicate. Um, but again, I think I'm with you guys. I definitely lean Atlanta. Um, only thing I would like to look into maybe is Seattle. Any team that's been on a 3-game losing streak after starting 3-0, how they do in Week 7 football games against the spread. Might be something I throw up on a research note and shoot you guys as well as the listeners because I'm curious teams in that scenario how well they do because it does kind of feel like a backs against the wall type for Seattle and Atlanta coming off, I think, a very fat and happy win against Carolina, and then a last second win against Tampa. It does kind of feel like if the Seahawks are going to show up, this would be the week, and it might be a little bit of a letdown spot for Atlanta. But I was really happy to see how they ran the football. That offense is starting to hum for sure. Um, so lean that way.
And with Geno Smith, especially going up against he's going up against San Francisco, Detroit, and Miami. All three with pretty decent secondaries. All three of which he threw either one or two picks. He's got 5 at this time. Over under on that is likely for all games going to be set at a half an interception. I think that might be one stat to lean on in Geno possibly forcing it, possibly slinging it downfield. We've seen him do it on a lot of go routes to DK Metcalf and trying to push the ball downfield. I think that could be one bet you might want to take in this one.
Yeah, he throws the ball a lot of attempts too, so that's I like that just from a volume perspective as well.
Yeah, I think there's just too many concerns for Seattle that I don't like this week versus Atlanta. As you said, Turtle, their run game looked really like flawless last week versus Carolina. If you watch the Thursday night game between Seattle and San Francisco, it's Joey, right? Or Nick? The Bosa, bro. It's Joey
That's
Bosa.
Joey
It's
Bosa,
Nick.
yeah.
Okay, you're right. You're right. My bad. It's Nick.
It is
It's Nick Bosa on San Francisco.
Yeah.
He was literally in Geno Smith's lap every play. It felt like, and to that point, I think the right side of their offensive line, they have two of the 7 worst offensive linemen individually in the NFL between Stone, Forsythe, and Anthony Bradford. Stone Forsythe, he has given up 35 pressures. The next nearest lineman there is 19 pressures for Terrence Steele.
Ooh.
And Anthony Bradford has 18 pressures. So I encourage you guys to watch some tape on the right side of their offensive line because that's been the key issue in my opinion. And then defensively, I'm really just waiting for 2 guys to get back. I think they miss Nwosu a lot. He's a big loss on that defensive side of the ball. And then I think they could really use Byron Murphy II right now. And going up against this interior offensive line that Atlanta has, one of the best offensive lines in football for some time, I think they're going to be able to run the ball with relative ease. So I'm going to take Atlanta, and I'm going to take the points. I think Seattle's just too banged up right now.
And Christian, you mentioned the the issues on the offensive line for Seattle. The beneficiary to that has been Kenneth Walker out of the backfield. His over/under is set at 3.5 receptions right now. Obviously, that's about the mean, but he's seen 4, 7, and 8 receptions and 8, and 5 targets in these past games. That might be a receiving prop that you want to target in this one.
Do you have
the volume he's getting?
Do you have sack props by chance? I would love to know Judon's sack.
I know that DraftKings does offer sack props. They're usually set at a half sack.
Well, I would take Judon. I think this is
Yeah.
a get right game for Judon for sure. If he's got if Abraham Lucas or George Fant can't go this weekend at right tackle, expect some
George
some
Fant,
sacks.
former Houston Texan.
Yeah.
Filled in
It's been around.
admirably last year. Do you guys know if Seattle's getting Tyreek Woolen back this week as well?
I didn't think it was that serious of an injury. I know Trey Brown is also down, and he replaced him last week.
Artie
with an
Burns
ankle.
has also got placed on IR for them.
Yeah.
So they're banged up on the back end.
I'd be
Tyreek Woolen isn't back.
I'd be
They're left with
surprised if he did.
Witherspoon.
Yeah. I'd be surprised if he didn't play.
Okay. Yeah, they'd need him for sure. Because Atlanta, with the way their offense is humming, I mean, one of those two, London or Mooney, might have a very strong game. So interesting to watch that as well.
Yeah, Pitts. Also, I gotta just. When is Kyle Pitts going to get this figured out? When is he going to show you
he's
what he
played
can do
well
in this offense? I could see more from Kyle Pitts. I really could.
Charlie
With
Warner,
a number 4 overall pick from a tight end. He's a number 4 overall pick tight end. I need to see more from Kyle Pitts in this offense with Kirk Cousins behind this offensive line with the weapons around him. I was supposed to see more from Kyle Pitts.
Is this just who Kyle Pitts is?
Well, it has nothing to do with fantasy. Trust me. I'm just saying personally, I need this guy to turn it on. But on that note, on that unfair note, on that negative note to Mr. Pitts, I know he's probably an avid listener to the Bulletin Board Sports podcast. But we can.
He's number
move
6.
on.
He's number 6 in the league right now in reception yards for tight ends. Not bad.
Well, it hasn't exactly been a lucrative year for tight ends.
Yeah.
Is he worth the 4th overall pick? No. Is he a solid tight end? Sure. I mean, maybe that's who he is at this point.
You got to
he is
be better.
Solid NFL tight
4th
end.
overall pick.
Yeah.
That's not what they were trying to draft. But I'm glad it's worked out for the Falcons. Yards per tight end. That just seems like. You said reception yards for tight ends?
Yeah, he's
number
has right
6?
now. He's 264 on the year.
And he's caught.
All right. Well, that's a lot.
2
That's a
touchdowns?
lot of Kirk Cousins, I'll say.
Yeah,
That's a lot
He's
of
caught
things. A lot of
one
things to Kirk
touchdown.
Cousins. I can go
Probably
from hating
one more
on.
than he had through last year through 6 weeks.
There you go.
And one
How
more
about that?
shout out. How about Darrell Mooney becoming a focal point of this offense and being elevated by the play of Kirk Cousins? We've seen him really explode so far this year. It might be another one to target.
Yeah, Justin Fields got him kicked out of Chicago by not knowing how to throw past his second read or throw past his first read to DJ Moore, and all of a sudden now he's a star on the Atlanta Falcons. I could tear myself apart thinking about all the missed opportunities that the Bears have had throughout the years.